Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you, Jeff. My name is Jamie. I am the Technology Integration Coordinator for Berea Public Charter School. I'm also an adult ESOL teacher and digital literacy teacher. So today, for my talk, I'm going to share a little bit about Berea's planning process for the 2021 school year. And then we'll look at sort of what I consider to be sort of our three pillars of digital literacy acquisition that led to a lot of success this year.
I am here to tell you about how was my experience with Bria using technology. At the beginning, it was very hard for me because I never used computer before. It all this was new for me. I decided to take classes with Bria. It was very helpful for me, and now it's more easy for me to use computer and to use technology. Thank you for all the teachers to teach me how to find any information on the internet and how to make my homework, how to find my feedback documents, any information on the computer is more easy for me now. I really happy to learn how to use technology, and I want to say thanks again for all your hard work for us. Thank you.
So Berea Public Charter School is a school that is devoted to family literacy. So we work with adults and their children. So in pre-pandemic times, the parents and the children are in the same building, learning in different classrooms, and there are different times that they come together. For parents, they're learning English as a second language, digital literacy, and parenting. We have infant and toddler programs as well as preschool. So one of our first things we realized at the start of the year is that our students do not have computers and many do not have internet access. So we undertook a really large initiative to distribute over 800 devices to our students, as well as connect 213 families with Wi-Fi. We recognize that our program is a public charter school and that sort of can afford us the resources to do this. We realize that not every program will be able to provide resources on this level. So we did a survey in the winter to check on how our students were feeling about remote learning. 57% of parents reported that they felt more confident in helping their children with remote learning. And the number that we were most excited about, 82% of our students felt that their technology skills had increased during the pandemic. So what are some of these, we asked them, what are some of these skills that they've learned? So we did an analysis, and these are some of the highlights. So in terms of computer skills, all levels from basic 1 through advanced 2 were logging into their Chromebook, charging their Chromebook, opening different programs, had the ability to navigate between Zoom and other programs. They were able to use Zoom functions such as camera on and off, sending messages in the chat, clicking links to other websites from the chat. And some of our higher levels were able to utilize Google Docs, email, and most levels were also able to read and respond to teacher comments within our learning management system. Overall, we identified over 89 essential technology skills that students learned just in the first 2 terms of this school year, which was really exciting, not just for them, but also could really empower them to help their children. And so this is a document that we use to track all of these items. So we actually had a teacher go in and really put all of this together. So at the top, you can see the different levels and then all of the different skills. We have a category for Zoom, for Google Classroom, other Google applications, using a device, other ed tech tools. And just recently, we had a meeting with all the teachers where they went in and updated this with new skills that were learned, or maybe a skill that was in Intermediate 1 had learned, but now Intermediate 2 also learned, and updated that document. And we are going to then use this to build a new digital literacy curriculum for our upcoming year. So let's talk about sort of how we got to this place. So sort of the three pillars were developing some new teams, really a really scaffolded approach to student digital literacy learning, and finally differentiated teacher training. So the new teams that we built were the instructional design team and the digital integration team. Next slide. So this is, I am part of the digital integration team, and this is something that I provided to teachers just to sort of know how we can help them. So they can sign up for office hours, they can talk about how to utilize technology for a particular objective, if they'd like me to model a lesson, or if they need us to create tutorials or resources for them. Next slide. So let's look at how we supported students. So one really important aspect was deciding what platform our students were going to use. Thankfully, digital literacy had always been a part of BRIA's curriculum. And we know that they had used Google Classroom previously. So not extensively, but they had at least some familiarity with it. So we decided to continue with Google Classroom and really expand on its capabilities. Google Classroom also really had a benefit where there's a calendar view, which connected all the assignments, Zoom classes, everything that would make it easier for students. For workforce, we decided to use Schoology. It's a little more of an advanced tool, and for students that might want to do university in the future, it's excellent practice for them. So student instruction, we took a really scaffolded approach. We started the year just using WhatsApp because that was something that students were familiar with, so they were learning on their phones. So digital skills, and from there we moved to using laptops. Okay. We provided video training on Chromebook, Zoom, and other essentials. So these were used without any dialogue or any text. So they were just visual guides. So really any literacy level students could get onto that video training. We also provided paper guides in every language that students spoke for reference. We also established a help desk line. So for 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 8 p.m., students can call and speak with a staff member one-on-one to get help. And we also repurposed tools such as GoGuardian and Chrome Remote Desktop. You can tap again, Kirsten. Yeah. So GoGuardian is originally designed really as an in-person tool for teachers to see, oh, is a student on YouTube instead of on their assignment. But we really used it as a way to check that students were on task. And if they couldn't find a link, we could actually open tabs for them and close tabs, send them messages. You can annotate on their screen. So it's like, click here. So these tools were really valuable. Chrome Remote Desktop as well allowed us to have remote access to the students' computers. So really helpful. Yeah, I think maybe we can, well, let's take a look. This is one of the visual videos that we created for students on how to set up their Chromebook. So yeah, these videos are very helpful for our students. These are also some examples of our multilingual guides. So here's how to open up the Chromebook in Amharic. And on the next slide, how to turn in an assignment in Google Classroom in Portuguese. Another exciting thing was developing a new orientation system. So previously we had full open enrollment. Now students could join at 4 different times a year. And we offered a 2-week-long orientation that capped off with students learning the basics of Zoom, Google Calendar, Google Classroom, that really set them up for success when they initially joined the class. We offered this at 2 different levels. And we continued to update and improve the orientation with lessons learned from different terms. So at the start of the year, many students would call the help desk saying, "My computer's dead, it's not working." And we realized they were not plugging them in. So we added that key information that, like a cell phone, you need to charge your laptop. Okay. And so finally, we'll take a look at how we approach teacher training. As we know, teachers came to this year with a wide variety of experiences and comfort level with technology. So we started off with a summer intensive on how to teach effectively on Zoom. And while this did focus on kind of the nuts and bolts, we also really talked about how to bring sort of that community aspect that was so important in our classrooms into the Zoom classroom. At the beginning of the year, we had weekly professional development. We also introduced new technology tools for feedback and interaction. That was something that was really important for that sort of two-way communication between teachers and students. So we looked at what is going to be the best way to do that in a way that's also technology, that's digital literacy friendly. Next slide. And something that was really helpful this year was we had 2 teachers in each virtual classroom. So there was a lead teacher responsible for the content, and then there was a support teacher that was dealing with admitting students and muting students, and if students had a tech problem, they could handle it while the lead teacher could continue teaching. The digital integration team also would push in and offer one-to-one support for teachers. So if they wanted to take on a big project, our team would come in and help them execute that. We also really developed a situation where there was a lot of collaboration within each level among, say, all basic teachers or intermediate teachers. And then with the instructional design team, there was sharing across levels. So we could really continually get feedback and support each other. And we had weekly level meetings as well. Something that we tried, which was successful, was differentiating our professional development. So the full group training sessions on a particular tool didn't work for everybody. So there were a few different things we tried. We created several self-paced options, so teachers could choose, I really want to learn about Google Classroom, so I'm going to focus on that. Or I really want to learn more advanced skills for utilizing the webcam and Google Slides to create a photo album with my class. So they could really select what they wanted to learn about. And later in the year, I started doing opt-in PD. There are some teachers that are really excited about technology and want to learn everything new and kind of keep expanding their knowledge. And there are others that say, you know what, I know Google Classroom, I know Zoom, I'm happy, I don't need anything else right now. And that's fine too. So we had a lot of optional PD in the second half of the year. And we also had technology office hours. So teachers could come to me if they wanted to sit and just work through an idea for something they wanted to do in class. Okay. This is sort of a master document. It's all of the tutorials, teacher trainings that we've done throughout the year. So you can see some are assignments, some are guides, some are videos, and we've put them all into one repository so that teachers can access them anytime. We also have resources for students, a lot of things on like Zoom and Google Classroom that teachers can turn to in future years, and even some administrative tools such as our like technology contract. Okay, so to finish up, I wanted to share a reflection from Jose, or Mr. G. He is a Basic 2 student, and this is from a conference with his teacher, Elaine, talking about his experience with remote learning and technology this year.
I was talking to Mr. G today, and in his conference, I was like, how are you doing learning at home? What's some stuff you learned about? And he gave me so many good gems about technology. He was like, well, it's been almost a year since the pandemic started. And when the pandemic started, I thought to myself, like, oh, well, there goes a while. Like, I'm not going to be learning for a while. Like, I'm not going to have class. And then even at the beginning of this year, he was like, I wasn't sure I could do it. Like, I remember sitting on the phone for hours at a time trying to get this done, and I thought, like, I can't do it. And he was like, but now here we are, like a year later, like I haven't lost a year at all. I've learned so much. Like, I can use a computer. I had never touched a computer like individually, like independently before this. And he's like, and I can do the homework by myself. I don't have to call Bria every time. I don't have to call you every time. Like, he's like, I can do things on my own on the computer now, and it's amazing. And I was like, it is amazing. You have done so much.